Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Norm. I have a very special interview today with Gale, or shall we say President Gale. Gale, I got to ask, and this is just a good way to start here. You've written a number of fantastic books, and you've actually also recorded the audio for a number of these books. For a person who's just getting into your work, what's a good book for them to start off with?
Probably The Forbidden Abyss, Brent Spiner, and Vladimir Putin.
Mm-hmm. And why do you think that's a good book to start off with? Do you think that gives people a good baseline for who your men are?
Yeah, I think it gives them a good baseline because they need to know the history behind my relationship with Brent Spiner and Vladimir Putin, because that basically caused me to evolve into who I am today.
Sure. And actually, I think another great place for the history, just for viewers trying to get into it, I recently watched, on YouTube, you put up a life history where you did from certain dates to certain dates, starting, and I thought that was very helpful too. So yeah, definitely, the Forbidden, what was it again? The Forbidden
Abyss, Brent Spiner, and Vladimir Putin.
That's the book to start with, folks. And where can people buy these books so you actually get the money? Because I know with the Jesuit, there's a lot of missed money funneling. So what website can people buy it from where it's the best place to buy it from for you?
Amazon.
Amazon. All right. I'm glad that...
I'm exclusive with Amazon. So if you just go to Amazon and do a search on Gabrielle Chana, Gabrielle, or Chana's last name Chana, or Gail Chord Schuler, you should be able to find me.
Perfect. And once we get this up on YouTube, we'll get links in the description for everybody so they can go right to your books. Because I think it's important everybody reads these because they change a lot of lives, I think.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Now, this I think will be quite obvious for people who keep up with you, but could you just tell maybe people who don't know as much about you, what is the greatest threat that the world is facing at this very moment? And what do you think that the Church of members of the Church of Gale can do to help combat this? You know, I'm thinking right now sort of about Come Noble and those sort of events.
Oh my goodness, I'm getting other people coming on my Discord.
I think they're just coming in to listen.
Oh, really? Is that what it is?
The
greatest threat right now is Laurie McBride.
Tell us more about who Laurie McBride is for maybe the uninitiated. So, Laurie McBride is a witch, a bitch, and what else?
She actually has Antichrist powers right now.
Oh my gosh. Tell me more about that.
Which means that she cannot be killed. And she makes love to Satan on a regular basis.
So is her making love with Satan connected with her getting those Antichrist powers? Are those two things connected, or are those just...
No, Satan is just egging her on. He knows she's very egotistical.
Yeah.
And she's full of herself, and he knows that he makes her feel very important when he makes love to her. And he actually has like acid semen.
Does it? Jeez. Yeah. That must be pretty hard to get with. But I guess if you're Laurie McBride, that's nothing. You know.
Oh, with Antichrist powers, you can't be killed.
Oh, okay, so yeah.
She likes violent, bloody sex.
Interesting.
I'm serious. She likes it. She enjoys killing people. Jeez. She enjoys violence. She obtained her relationship with Brent Spiner by drug rape, and then she used a dildo and did
awful things.
Like anal rape on him,
Jesus.
And she put him in stitches.
That's awful.
It is awful. And the way she did it was he was under drug rape, and he thought he was making love to me while he was making love to her.
And that's the most awful part too, because it basically put Brent completely in the wrong situation. It's awful. Now I got a question. With the prevalence of Jesuit misinformation, what is your sort of Gale guidance on spotting when a piece of news is phony or when a piece of news is something that a Gale believer can believe in?
You know, that is really tricky because Laurie McBride actually started her career kind of as a publicist.
I hate publicists.
She is an expert at manipulating public opinion. Boy, Lord, I don't even know where to start on this one. Probably the best way to tell is you need to regularly follow my website.
Yeah.
And I just started a... did you get my email newsletter?
Oh, I'm still signing up for the email newsletter.
No, but I mean, I actually sent it to your website's email.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I did. I think I got that. I don't check the website email as much as I should, to be honest with you. How about this? I'll give you my personal email after this show that you can send that stuff to.
If you go to my website, there's a page. Well, you can also give it to me personally, too.
Of course.
Yeah, that would probably be even better. But at my website, there is a page where people... Basically, you don't have to necessarily get an email from me, though
Sure.
a lot of people like that.
Well, they like the newsletter, yeah.
Yeah, but you just need to follow my website. You need to listen to Gabriel Chana Fox News, 00 on cable.
Yeah.
And just follow me online. Like, follow my YouTube channel. I'm also at Gab.
Yeah.
The reason I used to post, I do have a Facebook and Twitter account, but I've stopped posting there because of their draconian censorship.
I agree with you. I think that's the biggest issue that Zuckerberg has is he's a little baby and he can't handle people posting stuff on his platform he doesn't agree with. It's awful, you know.
Well, I think there's a lot of greed involved there.
Certainly.
Because the big pharma is making. You said you're going to post this to YouTube?
We're going to post this to YouTube, but we might have to edit it a little bit for the YouTube version. We will post a full version on the site, though.
I might be careful what I have to say here.
It would be smart to be a little careful, but don't self-censor yourself too much, Gail. We want the full experience. We want the truth.
Okay, because I don't want you to lose your YouTube channel.
No, it's all right, Gail. I got a team of.
You don't want me to worry about you getting censored?
No, give us your all, Gail. That's what I want. So tell us the truth.
Big Pharma is making a ton of money off of the COVID vaccine.
Jeez, that's what you say, Gail. That's what you say. I gotta ask, what are the Gale commandments for maybe a viewer who doesn't know them? Could you maybe list them off, or Debbie?
Yeah,
possible?
right in front of me. Thou shalt take Seroquel, the medication designed by Jesus every day as prescribed. What that means is if your doctor prescribes Seroquel for you, which he might if you have a yeast infection or because Seroquel is the cure for all forms of yeast, then you need to take it every day as prescribed. Thou shalt eat a balanced diet without concerns about allergens or toxins, using the method of calories in, calories out. What that means is Jesus wants everybody to eat, because Jesus wrote those.
Yeah.
He wants you to eat a balanced diet. Make sure you're getting, all your food groups, and don't worry about eating organic and all that stuff.
Just worry about getting the important.
I am posting a lot of Joseph Mercola stuff on my website and some Alex Jones stuff, but I don't completely agree with them on everything.
Yeah.
But they are doing a good job of exposing Big Pharma.
That's true.
So that's why I like to post them, because nobody else is exposing them. So the calories in, calories out means, and by the way, probably one of the best ways to keep from getting COVID or any illness is eat a balanced diet.
Of course.
And do the Gale commandments. Let me go through the rest.
Sure. Calories
in, calories out. If you go to a place like myfitnesspal.com, they'll make it real easy. But basically,
they have calculators, right?
Weight, is to keep track of what you're taking in and how much exercise you're doing, which causes you to burn calories, and just make sure that the amount of calories that you're consuming is not so great that you're not able to burn it off, or that.
You're not building a bunch of extra adipose tissue you don't need, basically. I totally get that. So what's after that?
Thou shalt not toil in activities, even honorable work for the Lord, to the extent that sleep is sacrificed, set aside at least 8 hours per sleep.
I like that. I like that a lot. One thing I could say that I love about the Gale commandments, because I do follow them myself, actually.
Oh, wonderful.
I think it's just a great guide to living healthy, and you wake up happy. Do you know what I mean? I want to say, correct me wrong, isn't one of the Gale commandments to get some vitamin D and to go outside?
Yeah, let me continue.
Yes, sorry. I don't want to get ahead of myself here.
Yeah, that's okay. Thou shalt honor the Lord's temple by taking time every day to self-groom, bathe, brush teeth, stay clean. Basically, I shower every day. I brush my teeth, floss. I use a Sonicare electric toothbrush every day.
Oh, nice.
Actually, I haven't been to the dentist since 2013, and I'm doing fine.
Well, when you do a good job brushing your teeth, that's what really matters.
And self-groom, I actually cut and color my own hair, too.
I couldn't even tell you put color in.
Well, actually, I'm due to color. I'm kind of behind. So, let me see. Okay. So, self-groom, bathe, brush teeth, stay clean, you know. The next one is that spend time every day cleaning, wiping down laundry, and vacuum and dust your apartment. Jesus told me that with me, sleep is a higher priority.
Yeah.
And he said, if you don't have time to do vacuuming and dusting
Well,
every day,
yeah.
basically do it about once a week.
There's only so many hours in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
He said sleep's a higher priority, but basically you want to dust, you want to vacuum, and you want to, keep your place clean.
Clean home, clean mind.
Yeah, wipe down, like after you cook, wipe your tables, wipe your stove, that sort of thing, or after you eat. The next one is thou shalt go on walks every day. That's outside. You get your good vitamin sunshine.
Can I say, actually, that's the commandment that I was thinking, I was getting a little tense for this interview because it's a big interview, to have with you. And I was like, oh, geez, what can I do to get into the right headspace for this? And I remembered the Gale commandments and I got to go for a walk. So I just got myself a little dose of vitamin D before this interview. I went for 10-minute walk, 12-minute walk, who knows, just down the road and back. And it got me jazzed. It got me ready. It got me in the right headspace. So
wonderful. How long have you been doing the Gale commandments?
I've been doing them for, to be honest with you, only a few months now. I'm a more recent follower of the Church of Gale. But I follow them every day, basically. Every day I like to get my walk in. Every day I like to get my vitamin D. And sleep.
Have you caught COVID?
No, I have not.
Excellent.
Yeah.
But then that started supposedly in 2020. So
I would say I was actually following some of the Gale commandments before I even knew what they were. Do you know what I mean? I was already going for a lot of walks, but I definitely think there were some things that keeping the house clean was something I didn't do before I learned about the Gale commandments. I really was, to be honest. I was a little bit of a hoarder.
Most guys are kind of negligent in that area.
Sure. Yeah. What can you do? Anyway, so I really have to say the Gale commandments. If anybody's looking for a way to fix their life and they're down, the Gale commandments are one of the best way. If I may ask, because I know it does get very hard, fighting against people like Lloyd McBride.
I didn't finish all the Gale commandments.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Let's finish them off.
Let's do it real quick.
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from. Okay. Thou shalt spend money only on food. Okay, so Jesus wants you to walk every day, unless it's rainy or unsuitable for walks, then exercise indoors with the windows open.
Oh.
And I do that. Thou shalt spend money only on food and bills, being mindful that spending money on a deal or impulse is not saving money if it's to buy more than you need or something you wouldn't have otherwise bought. In other words, don't get into the hood mentality.
Yeah.
Which a lot of America got into, especially with this COVID nonsense, where they hoarded up loads of toilet paper,
loads of water, and then suddenly, what are you going to do with all this toilet paper? You have a 3-year supply.
Violation of the Gale commandments, because you're buying more than you need.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? Okay. Thou shalt take only one multivitamin and one allergy medication per day.
Yep.
Taking supplements or special foods. This is where I disagree with Alex Jones.
Sure.
Special foods in an attempt to improve a health condition or alleviate symptoms is off.
So you don't believe in like the bone broth that he sells or like the ultra alpha male? I kind of get that stuff. Seems a little bunk to me.
No, just eat a balanced diet.
Exactly.
And that's it. Yeah, I don't even fill. I used to buy bottled water. Jesus told me to quit doing that. I just drink from the sink now.
Me too.
I'm doing fine.
It tastes basically the same. I've never had any problem. And he continued with the Gale.
Let me say one more thing. He wants me to save money, so see, the thing is, you don't need to use credit cards if you have money in savings.
That's true.
So he wants you to store savings like at least $100 every month for the future. And then what that means is when you have an emergency, you've got savings to deal with it. You don't have to pull out your credit card.
Yeah, and you're not putting yourself in debt. All you're doing is taking from your stack, but you're not putting yourself in debt.
Right. Another thing is, okay, that's basically it. Now you can go ahead.
Okay, sorry to cut you off there. The next question.
You're fine.
What do you think the hardest part has been fighting against the Jesuits, fighting against Lloyd McBride? For you, through your entire time that you've been against Lloyd McBride, what do you think the hardest part has been?
It's the fact that she is such a brilliant liar.
Mm-hmm.
And that a lot of the advanced technology that the Jesuits are using is not being reported in mainstream news.
Sure.
And so it makes it really easy for her to carry out crimes because nobody is aware of this technology.
Yeah.
So she can do stuff using clones, using brain control, using these drugs, and like with the Come Noble, I made a video to warn everybody that the Come Noble plant was about to explode.
Yeah,
which reminds me, Gail, shield protect them from the explosion and put a shield over it.
Thank you for the Gale shield. I appreciate that. So yeah,
And you know what happened? Somebody commented under that and said, "I have flagged this as disinformation."
that person who just posted that comment was disinformation, if you ask me. Anyway, I actually want to know a little bit more about the Come Noble nuclear plant explosion. What is the current status? Is it in meltdown or has it already melted down?
Exploded.
It exploded. Oh my gosh.
Yes, it just exploded, and I sent a video telling everybody in California and Japan they need to evacuate now.
Now, what could be? I don't want to speculate too much here, but what do you think could be the possible death count from this after your warning gets out? I mean,
I have no idea.
Are we talking millions? You think? It's awful.
It could be. If they don't evacuate, yeah, it could be millions.
That's really. I hope that your urgent Gale warning is getting out to everybody, because I think people really need to.
The problem is mainstream news has been totally ignoring this.
And why do you think that is?
Because Lori McBride owns them.
Okay, yeah, kind of obvious.
And she enjoys killing people.
Mm-hmm. So when she sees something, when she sees a tragedy like the Come Noble nuclear plant, she's happy, is what you're saying to me. She
probably gives her an orgasm.
Do you think that?
That's how sick she is.
Not to be too conspiratorial here, but do you think Lori McBride may have had a hand in the Come Noble nuclear plant explosion?
Actually, I think she did.
Jesus, I mean, do you think it's really? Do you think she had agents on the ground, or how do you think that she caused this sort of a reactor meltdown?
I think she's using some of her advanced technology, possibly neutrino technology, to cause. She might be using some sort of genetic manipulation too to cause the semen in the Come Noble plant to just rapidly multiply.
Sure, and that would cause the overflow effect that we've been seeing, and the explosion.
She could be cloning the semen at a rapid pace.
Jesus,
she uses very advanced technology, which nobody reports on. So it's like, when nobody reports on it, then how in the world do you know what's happening? That's
why I'm here. That's why I'm here, Gail. I'm here to report on the news that no one else is going to talk about. And I want to tell you, if you ever have any important press releases like the Come nuclear explosion, I'm always open to hear them. Anyway, we had a question from some of my folks at the office who've been long supporters of you for a longer time, and they had some questions about some of your classic videos, some of the classic sort of events that went on in your life. Could you tell us a little more about the story behind the monster that was Bubba, who said, and I quote, something about wanting to lick someone's butthole? Or does that ring any bells?
Bubba's not a monster anymore.
Could you tell us the update? Because these are questions for people in the office who had seen your video a long time ago, but don't know the current state of the story. So tell us, what's happening with Bubba?
Bubba, we actually won Bubba over to our side.
Oh, that's good.
Because he realized that we're not anti-gay.
Oh.
He's gay. Mm-hmm. He's currently married to his gay lover.
Yeah.
And we promote true love in all its forms, whether it's gay, heterosexual, homosexual.
Yeah, and I know. I think I noticed that you have the gay pride flag behind you. Now, has that always been the case for the Church of Gale, or is that something where you've sort of expanded your view on it over time? What do you think?
It's a little complicated.
Sure.
I've never really been an anti-gay person, even when I was a devout churchgoer. Mm-hmm. I was aware that my fellow church people were, kind of, you should say, homophobic.
Sure.
But me personally, it's never been a big issue with me.
Oh, I got it. All right.
Even back in the 1980s when Anita Bryant was going on her crusade.
So you were very progressive in that way, you think? Or progressive or just indifferent?
Probably more indifferent.
That's understandable.
but lately, because I became a born again Christian when I was 14, and I'm 64 now.
Uh-huh.
But my attitude was, if they're not bothering us, why do we want to bother them?
Yeah.
The only people that bother me are people who interfere with true love. So, I think
that's a great position to have on it.
And Jesus actually said he admired the way I felt about this. He said, Jesus is the one who clinched it for me, because we had a conversation with Jesus, and Jesus said that, Gail, I just want you to know that I really admire your openness in regard to homosexuality.
Wow.
He said, this is something that I kind of like.
It is admirable.
I have to be kind of be careful discussing this with some Christians, because they've got hang-ups along this line. But he said, Jesus told me, I just wanted you to know that I'm really proud of you for your openness about this. Because basically, whenever he tells me something that's kind of controversial in the Christendom, I usually have an open heart and I'm willing to listen. Whereas some people, they're just stuck in their ways, and they're not willing to accept a viewpoint which is different than what they've been taught, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, I just look at it this way. People are different, and I think we should value and respect the differences. And that's one thing I hate about Laurie McBride. She tries to put everybody in a box.
Yeah, totally. Whereas I think the Church of Gale is about breaking free from those boxes and being who you really are.
Exactly.
I gotta agree. I gotta ask, what was the greater aftermath of the war with the Gale, the GA1LAI? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Gale Android.
Yeah, the Gale Android, of course. So what was the greater aftermath of that? I know that there was some great damages on both the Jesuit and the Church of Gale side, and it took a long time to repair. So tell us a little bit about what the aftermath looked like for you.
Well, that was when we first banded up with the Zach Knight Jesuits. That was when Zach Knight was the Antichrist. And basically, Jesus did a miracle. God the Father and Jesus did a miracle, even though the Gale android did she killed all of the Jesuits, and she killed everybody on Church of Gale.
Yep.
And I think only me and Terrence Jenkins and Brent Spiner survived, but he got caught up in a wormhole and he got sucked up to heaven.
Okay, well that's kind of nice to get sucked into heaven, but still to be away from you must be painful.
Well, yeah, but it was so ironic because he was up in heaven with an injured body. She actually brought the damaged people up as trophies before God, and she tried to take on God. When she did that, I knew she would lose. And then what happened
remarkable.
is God when she went to the seals and tried to pluck them off and tried to do Jesus' role, because he's the only one allowed to remove those seals in Revelation.
Yeah.
That's when God the Father, he went like this. He drew a door, and a Misao android, which is like my mother, came out. And he took care of Gale and locked her up in a compartment in Church of Gale, and she's been locked up ever since. And then God the Father just threw everybody back to earth and just resurrected everyone who died.
That's beautiful.
So basically, the only aftermath was that but Zach Knight's memories of that got removed.
Oh, okay.
Because he actually died.
Yeah.
He in Rule 13 actually died. In fact, if I try to bring back his memories on that, he'll go spasm.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but he actually died and
was resurrected.
Resurrected them all. But part of the deal was because he got resurrected, all his memories
were wiped.
I would think the 24 hours before he got resurrected have been removed.
Interesting. Huh. Well, thank you for covering that up, because I think a lot of people were interested who've maybe seen your videos in the past but have just sort of come back. Now, if you had to pick a specific point in your online history, starting in about 2010, that stuck out for you for its particular importance to your church, what would it be?
You mean one event?
One online event, something that was, if you could think of one, if not...
Does it have to be an online event?
Doesn't have to be online, just from about 2010 to now. If you had to
that made the most
impact.
Significance?
Yes, the most significance.
Probably when I led Zach Knight to the Lord. He was the Antichrist.
Yeah. Well, that is a big event, to turn somebody like that who's so far gone, yeah.
Yeah, that would probably be the most significant event.
Wow.
that I was able to lead the Antichrist to Jesus.
It's amazing. It's a sign of how powerful the Gale commandments are.
Well, actually, yeah, that's right. The Gale commandments were in vogue at that time. Yeah.
Interesting. So, how can a person spiritually protect themselves online? You know, are there any easy sort of power phrases we could use? I saw earlier you had this Gale shield. What are the sort of ways that we as members of the Church of Gale can protect ourselves?
As members of Church of Gale?
Yeah. Well, I've heard there were also maybe some phrases you can include at the end of emails, like perfect penis or...
You can try perfect penis. That might work. Another thing is just do the Gale commandments. And basically, people need to follow me because I'm the biggest truth teller of our time. You need to follow me at my website. You need to watch Gabriel Chana Fox News.
Channel 00.
Because the liars are very clever. And they know how to make their lies appear believable. And the best way to expose the darkness is with the light.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I think that's empowering. I think almost what you just said there. It's very empowering.
Yeah, I mean, they said light is the best disinfectant.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard that before?
I have heard that, actually.
Yeah, that is true.
You know, it is true. It's also true chemically. UV light kills a large portion of viruses. So it's true in both the you know, in many ways. Now, I got to ask, let's move on to some of the happier stuff here. How are things going with you and Brent? I know that you have a real heck of an engagement ring.
Brent and I have an awesome relationship.
I'd love to hear it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome since the very beginning. I mean, I don't know how to describe our relationship. When our relationship started, he seemed too good to be true.
Yeah.
And so when...
Was there ever that moment, can I ask, if he seemed too good to be true, was there ever that moment where, like, he came to earth, or has he always just continued to be too good to be true? If you know what I mean. Wait, well, I'm sort of, it was sort of a metaphor. I'm trying to say, you said he seemed too good to be true, but has he just continued to be that good? Because it seems like to me that he's still very, an amazing partner, Brent.
He has turned out to be exactly as amazing and awesome as I always thought he was.
I love to hear it.
Even when I was in the height of infatuation.
See, that's how you know that it's really a true love, when it's a love that it's the same when you first meet them to the day you're together. It's the same the entire time, because it's just such a true love that it can't be broken.
The only disappointment that I would have with him, and this is going to be true in any relationship,
it happens,
is that, how do I say this? He allowed his doubts about me to overcome him.
Yeah.
In other words, the problem is when you have a partner who's a really awesome person.
Yeah.
And you're surrounded by so much evil. It's kind of hard to believe that they could be for real.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
And if you don't watch it, especially if you've been abused, or if you have a history of being abused in your life, you tell yourself that you don't deserve this person.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
And the problem is, what you will do is you will cut yourself short and not open up to them about things they may say or do that make you feel insecure.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how insecure my marriage list made him feel.
Oh, I can see that.
That's probably the only disappointment
bump in the road. Sure.
That he didn't feel safe enough with me to let me know how he felt about that.
Yeah, and that's a hard, it's hard to tell somebody that you love when you have a problem with them. So I think I can understand it from his perspective too.
Yeah, I know, but that's about the only
thing. I mean, otherwise it's just been
very much
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than the lovely Brett Spiner, you did bring up the marriage list. Are you still active with any of the other men in your life? Are there any other men? If I can ask that, if that's all right to ask.
Not sexually.
Not brain to brain or anything.
Because I've decided that I'm actually monogamous at heart, and but I
Well, they did have to
definitely.
kind of, if correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they have to kind of convince you about the marriage list? I think I remember you saying something where you were almost a little bit like, if you guys must have this list, you must have this list, kind of thing.
That's true.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I thought Brent understood that.
yeah.
I actually thought it was his idea to have a marriage list.
And sometimes that's how these stories this can go. It's like who idea was in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'm actually monogamous at heart, and I don't really. That's why I was so turned off by Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah.
And when my men told me they had like 25,000 guys on my marriage, I said, "Are you guys serious?"
Yeah, we gotta cut it
I
down
don't
a little
want
bit.
this. I like intimacy with
Yeah.
my men. How can I be intimacy with 25,000?
I know,
have
it's hard.
25,000 guys, and I was really turned off with Viggo Mortensen. His attitude, because when he found out that I really wasn't interested in having sex with 25,000 men at once, he got really angry.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think you have to be able to make your own boundaries, and when people can't respect that, that's a real problem to me. I think, if you say there can't be 25,000 men on the marriage list, there shouldn't be. That's just what I think. I got to ask, with some of your more famous friends, like Brent Spiner, how do the Jesuits maintain the facade that these people don't have a connection with you?
They're clones.
They're
That's
clones.
how.
Okay, so could you explain
Yeah,
a little bit?
they use clones of these men.
And they'll put them up in these movies or on these interview
And then
shows.
they'll have them deliberately make appearances and make statements to make it appear like I'm this crazy lady.
Uh-huh. And how does that make you feel when you see these clones doing these things? I mean, it must make you feel awful. I mean, it might probably just enrages you more against Lloyd McBride.
Yeah, mostly against Laurie McBride. Believe it or not, one of the Brent Spiner clones actually came over to our.
Wow. That's
We were about to execute him, and then he said something that made me wonder whether maybe we should let this guy live.
yeah.
Hey, right before we were about to take him out, he said, I've always kind of respected you, Gail. Not that I was telling Brent, it doesn't sound like this guy needs to be executed.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can lead him to Jesus and find him a good woman. And we did.
Well, that's nice. I think what's great about you is you do seem to have, like you did with Zach the Antichrist, you do seem to understand that anybody can be brought to Jesus, and I think that's something that's very commendable. That you're willing to bring anybody to the Lord. It doesn't matter who they are, and I really respect that about you, Gail. I got to say.
Thank you. I'm a very forgiving person. I could even forgive Laurie McBride if she ever learned some humility.
Sure. Now, for your supporters, people who want to support you, are there any sort of financial ways they can support you? I know you have a Patreon. What are the best ways that your supporters can help you out?
Patreon right now.
Patreon?
Yeah, that's the number one way you can support me.
And to buy your books too on Amazon, does that help as well?
That helps a little bit. I don't really make a lot of money from the books.
So push more for the Patreon.
Laurie McBride Jesuits. I'm actually like a New York Times best-selling author.
Wow.
But the Jesuits are good at stealing book proceeds.
That's awful. So
Yeah.
So they should. If people want to support you, they can find you on Patreon. I'll have the link for all that in the description of this video below, so they
Thank
can.
you.
No worries.
That's really helpful.
Yeah.
The Patreon support's been really beneficial to me.
And I saw recently that some of your men have gotten you a computer. Are there any other specific items like that you need, like a new printer or any other, in case somebody might have a spare one that's sort of a little beat up they could send? If you don't have anything in mind, it's all right. I just thought I'd ask. Because in case any of the viewers.
Amazon wish list.
Perfect. We'll link that too. Check the Amazon wish list.
Amazon wish list is where I list my needs.
Didn't you get like a stainless steel cooking pot or something like recently from your Amazon wish list?
Yeah, I can show it to you.
Yeah, please.
It's really. It's a steamer, actually.
Wow, a steamer. Yeah,
there it is. Isn't it beautiful?
That's beautiful. So yeah, people definitely check out the Amazon wish list. Gail, thank you so much for being on this interview with me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
That sort of concludes all the questions I had for you. But did you have anything you want to say to the Bees Fud listeners, the Bees Fud readers? If not, we could just wave goodbye. It's.
I just want to thank everyone for supporting me, and pray for the people at Come Noble right now.
Okay, everybody, make sure to pray for the people at Come Noble.
Pray for the
They
people.
need it.
I'm going to use my Gale Shield modulator right now and try to save them.
And if you have any friends in California or Japan, call them. Tell them to get the heck out of there.
Yeah,
while they still can.
And tell them to contact my man at Gail's man, GAILSMEN at yahoo.com, and let them know if they need to be evacuated or something.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just follow my website. Do not get the COVID shot.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for watching. This has been a great show. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.